welcome back to Dungeon Command. We're playing Tyranny of Goblins versus Curse of Undeath. And yes, I forgot. I could have played a card last time to stop the troll from being destroyed, but oh well, them's the breaks. So we start, of course, with the Undeath player, so let's go over to his area and begin. So first up will be start of turn effects, but the Undeath player doesn't have any except the Regenerating Vampire, which has no damage on him, so that's not going to happen. Next, they grab one order card and untap all creatures. They don't have any tapped creatures. And, okay, that's the order card for Undeath. And so basically we go right now into activating the Undeath creatures one at a time until we've activated all of them. So I'll readjust the camera and we'll get to doing that. So first up, the Undeath player will move their damaged zombie. He has 30 hit points of damage. Only has 10 left before he's killed, and he can move 4 spaces, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of block off this corridor. And next up we will, and of course he won't do an action, next up we'll do the Skeletal Lancer. Let's move this up a bit, and he can move 8, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he is now adjacent to the Hobgoblin Sorcerer, and he will do a melee attack, which, looking at his card, will do 20 damage. So he's going to do 20 damage to the Hobgoblin Sorcerer. However, the Hobgoblin Sorcerer is on a magic circle, so he will tap himself to prevent 10 of the damage. However, 10 damage still gets through. So our Hobgoblin Sorcerer only has 40 hit points. Now he's down to 30. Alright, and next up we have the... and of course that taps the Skeletal Lancer for the action. We have the Lich Necromancer, can move a distance of 6. Actually, do I want to do first? Let's move the Vampire Stalker first, and he gets to move 6 as well. So he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whoops. Right here, getting in position. That will be all he does. And last up will be the Lich Necromancer, who also has a movement of 6. So I'll take him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And he has a clear shot at the Hobgoblin Sorcerer now. And unfortunately, the Hobgoblin Sorcerer does not have much that he can do. And the patch-up isn't even going to work on him. This was the card I could have used on the troll, which I should have, and I forgot to do it. So anyway, our troll is gone. However, our Hobgoblin Sorcerer is already tapped to prevent 10 damage from the Skeletal Lancer. And now we're having a ranged attack from the Lich Necromancer, doing 30 points of damage. That is going to be enough to knock our Hobgoblin Sorcerer right out, bringing him from the 10 he already has up to 40 with the additional 3. Unfortunately, for our Goblin player, we lose our Hobgoblin Sorcerer. And because he was a level 3, that means morale goes down 3. So we're going from 12 down to 9. And that, of course, taps the Lich Necromancer for doing that. Alright, let's go back to the Undeath player's area and do their end of turn activities. Alright, so to start off with, we will increase the leadership by 1. And again, I forgot, every time you defeat an enemy, you increase your leadership by 1. So we're going to do that once more for killing the Hobgoblin Sorcerer, which brings the leadership now of the Undeath leader to 19. And we're going to possibly bring a creature out. They have 8, 9, 14, 19, so they can bring a 5th level or lower creature out onto the table. And they are in fact going to bring out 2. The first one they're going to bring out is a level 2. And it's our trusty little skeletal warrior. So he's going to come out. We'll put him, say, here. And secondly, they are bringing out the Hypnotic Spirit. 40 hit point creature, level 3, has Charisma trait, does 20 melee damage. It has a phasing ability, which says this creature shifts and ignores walls while moving. So it can move through walls. It cannot end its movement in a wall space. So it basically shifts when it moves, and it ignores walls. So that's pretty cool. It's insubstantial, which means it can tap itself to prevent all damage to this creature from one source. So it's I guess, fairly ghostly. So we're going to bring that one out onto the board. And it is this miniature, which is the translucent blue, sort of apparition-y looking thing, and we'll put it right out there. All right, that is... oh, and of course we untap all of our creatures, so our Lich Necromancer becomes untapped. So does the Skeletal Lancer. Shift all these guys down now so I can get the extra monsters running out of space. Okay, and that takes the total leadership 5, 10, 15, up to 19, which is just fine. Alright, that ends our Undeath player's turn. Another good turn for him. Let's go over now to our Goblin area and see what we can do. Alright, over to the Goblins, which have been taking a beating. Oh, and one last thing. I forgot to draw up to the creature hand size for Undeath. So they are going to get 2 more creatures added to their hand. We'll do that off screen. So I forgot that the last step. But now we're on to the Goblins. And first thing we do, we'll untap all creatures. We don't have any tapped creatures. And we will draw 1 order card. And the order card we get is Reinforcements. And any creature of level 3 can do this one. It says discard any number of creature cards from your hand. Then reshuffle all creature cards from your graveyard into your creature deck and draw creature cards up to your creature hand size. Wow. So if I read this correctly, discard any number of creature cards from your hand, then reshuffle all creature cards from your graveyard into your creature deck. So we basically take our entire discard pile of creatures, shuffle them back into our hand, and draw new creatures. So it's possible for us to get the troll back again. Very cool. All right, I'll think about that one. And now we are going to, of course, go into activation. Activating each creature in turn, so I'll readjust the camera and we'll get to that. All right, so first up in activation order, we're going to activate our Hobgoblin Soldier. And he is a level 3, and I'm going to play this card, Reinforcements, which says level 3 any. So we're going to use that for a minor action right now for our Hobgoblin Soldier. And so I'm going to discard creature cards from my hand, reshuffle all of our discarded creature cards, forming a creature deck, and draw up to my creature hand size again. So we're playing that card. That's very powerful. And the creature cards in my hand right now, of course, are Horn Devil, Goblin Wolf Rider, and Hobgoblin Soldier, which are all good cards, but I think I'm going to keep the Horn Devil. I'm going to take these 2 and discard them into our discard pile. And then we just shuffle all those up and add them to our draw pile for creatures. So shuffling up, we might even get our Hobgoblin Sorcerer back. Alright, so I need to draw 2 cards, so this is our reshuffled pile, so we're going to take 2 creature cards off the top of that. And we end up getting back the Wolf, and indeed the Hobgoblin Sorcerer. Alright, so these now can be deployed once again. Good stuff. Alright, here I thought they were knocked out of the game for good, but that Reinforcements card, which I didn't even know existed, is very powerful. Now let's move our Hobgoblin Soldier. So he's going to move 1, and we'll go 2. He has to stop because he's next to an enemy. And he has 30 melee damage, so he's going to attack the zombie. And I don't think the Undeath player has anything that can stop that. No, he doesn't. The zombie, which already had 30 damage on it, is now defeated, destroyed, and that is going to knock the Undeath player's morale down 1 from 10 down to 9. So now we have a tie of 9 morale each. And let me readjust the camera, and we'll activate the other 3 Goblin units. Alright, next up we're going to activate the Goblin Archer, and he's a movement of 6 and has acrobatics, so he's not slowed down by difficult terrain. So he's going to move up this way, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And from here he's going to shoot at the Skeletal Lancer, and he has a ranged attack of a distance of 5, which he is easily within, and he does 20 damage. And so he will do 20 damage to the Skeletal Lancer unless the Undeath player has something to stop that, and the Undeath player does not want to play anything to stop that, so he's going to take 20 damage. That brings the Skeletal Lancer's total damage up to 40, has 100 hit points. And next up, that of course taps the Goblin Archer for his attack. Next up, I'm going to play our Goblin Champion. The reason I'm playing him is we're going to use an order card, and we're going to play the Goblin Warcry. It's a level 3 Charisma, which our Goblin Champion has. And it says, Goblin, Hobgoblin, and Bugbear creatures you control deal plus 10 damage with melee and range attacks until the end of the turn. So what this means, now that we play that, is our Goblin Champion and our Bugbear Berserker both do plus 20 damage, and they both do 20 damage right now. So we're going to move the Goblin Champion, and then he's going to attack. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 over to here and take a mighty swing for 30 points of damage. And that will bring the total damage to the Skeletal Lancer up to 70. So we'll grab a 50 and we'll leave the 20 on there for 70 of 100 damage. And last, not least, we have our Bugbear Berserker. And he is going to be, he has a movement of 7. So he can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rough terrain 6, 7. And attack the Skeletal Lancer for 30 points of damage, which will destroy the Skeletal Lancer, except for the fact that the Undeath player is going to play Unbreakable. Skeletal Lancer is a level 4, has a Constitution, and it says prevent 50 damage to this creature from one source. So basically the Bugbear's 30 damage does nothing. Skeletal Lancer is still there. That's not great. Alright, let's go over to the Goblin area and we'll wrap up the Goblin turn. Okay, so at the end of turn we're going to increase leadership from 16 to 17. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 11 total, so we can deploy a creature level 6 or less. And I think let's go right ahead and we're going to bring out the Horned Devil. And he is basically our toughest creature in the game. Level 6, Constitution Charisma ability, 140 hit points, 40 damage melee. He's flying, he's a reach of 2, and as a standard action, make a melee attack. If the attacker takes damage, then that attacked unit is tapped. So this we are bringing out. And yes, very cool. Like a mini this time. We have our big bad unit. Of course he's a level 6, so if we lose him, we're going to lose 6 morale. But let's put some fear into the Undeath player. We'll bring the Horned Devil out. And of course we're going to untap all of our creatures, which we're doing here. And lastly, we draw up to our creature hand size. So we're going to need to draw one more creature, and we draw a little Goblin Cutter. But hey, that's okay. We'll bring that out maybe next turn. All right, back to the main board, and we'll wrap up this episode. All right, so things heating up a little bit. We have a very damaged Skeletal Lancer. We have units now converging on each other. So to wrap up the numbers, the Undeath leader has a morale of 9, a leadership of 19, and our Goblin leader has a morale of 9 as well, and a leadership of 17. Okay, that's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time for the continuation of Undeath versus the Goblins. Thanks for watching.